As Bangladesh resulted in the terror attack that killed 20 foreign nationals in a cafe popular with expatriates, the government has denied reports of an ISIS link to the attack. The Home Minister of Bangladesh, Asaduzzaman Khan, has said members of Jamaeytul Mujahdeen Bangladesh were responsible for the attack. The group incidentally has been named in Bangladesh for more than a decade. The Home Minister also said the group has absolutely no link with the Islamic State. Meanwhile, India today has learned out of the 6 terrorists, those who were killed, 5 of them were on police watch list.
The face of terrorism is homegrown. Is that more worrisome?
Similarly, even the earlier terrorism, the attack which killed the entire family of the founder of Bangladesh, a concerted attack in 67 districts in 2006, 500 bomb blasts at the same time, an attack, grenade attack on our current Prime Minister when she was the leader of the opposition. These are all homegrown. That is why what we are saying is that although today there are terrorists with international links and whatnot, essentially given our history, these are domestic terrorists with a political agenda of their own.
So what is the outfit here according to your intelligence reports? And when you say that somebody is only an ISIS sympathizer, but this sympathizer picks up a gun, walks into a cafeteria, brutally kills people, where is the difference between an ISIS sympathizer and an ISIS terrorist?
The point I just made is terrorist is a terrorist. All terrorists are heinous people, brutal, savage people. There is no distinction between them. We are not making any distinction between one or the other. The point I am making is, given our history, given our politics, we have a long experience of these domestic terrorists. These belong to the various factions under the combined name of Jamaat this and that, Ansarul Islam, JMB and so forth. So these are different labels they attach themselves to it. No matter what label they attach, they are all terrorists, and we treat them as terrorists, and we make no distinction.
Let me now go across to my colleague Smita Sharma, who is reporting on this story from Dhaka. Smita, that interview that you did with the advisor to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, there seems to be reluctance as far as linking these terrorists to ISIS is concerned. You very pointedly, rightly pointed out that whether it's a sympathizer, what's the difference? How is the Bangladesh government now trying to tackle this entire situation, even if these homegrown terrorists have or are sympathizers to ISIS?
Well, Ankit, it surely is a challenge, and in fact this attack has been a wake-up call for the government. But right now I am in fact at the party headquarters of the main opposition party, the Bangladesh National Party, and the General Secretary, Mirza Fakhrul Sahab is with me. The Begum Khalida Zia just did a press conference. So the attack that happened, the government still says this is not the work of ISIS. ISIS has claimed responsibility. This is actually homegrown terror outfits who are patronized by the Jamaat. What do you have to say to it?
This is the whole problem here, the government is totally denying the real thing, that it is that when the IS is claiming that they have done it, and when the international media and the international experts, all of them are telling that this is an act of IS. But unfortunately, the government is continuously telling that it's not an IS attack or an international sort of this organization is involved with it.
They say that politically it's actually the opposition that is trying to sort of, make these excuses, just like we saw in the case of individual murders that happened.
It's hiding the exact thing, the real thing. And that's why they're not being able to find out the real culprits, the real organization which is responsible for this sort of dastardly attacks. This is totally the irresponsibility of this government. They are trying to just divert the attention of the people from the real thing to other things.
So, you know, the people, the identity of the terrorists is now emerging out.
Yeah.
These are young boys, 19-year-old,
Yes, and
23-year-old, they are homegrown jihad.
And
Why are they getting radicalized?
Yes, this is the whole problem. This is the international problem, you know. This IS problem is an international problem. This militancy is an international problem. And that is the whole problem. We are saying that this has to be solved with a total national consensus. You just can't avoid the reality here. The government is trying to avoid the reality and trying to just divert the attention of the people from the real thing to other. That is, they're trying to just blame the opposition for it.
Finally, you don't agree with the government assessment that it's the local outfits like Ansarul Bangla or the JMB that are behind these attacks?
It is we have so far we have heard from them, from the government agencies here also, that Ansar Allah team is also involved here, Al Qaeda is involved, then IS is involved. So these are totally other agencies which are militant agencies. But the opposition, the democratic opposition, they cannot be blamed for it. And they are just trying to undermine the opposition.
You are ready for a dialogue?
Of course, we are always
across the table and try and resolve the issue.
Our chairperson has right now, she has asked for a dialogue, she has asked for a national consensus of this issue.
Okay, so one would think that perhaps there is such a situation in Bangladesh where even the political fault lines are being, there's an attempt at trying to exploit them, Ankit. But clearly, if you look at the profile of these terrorists, these people, the assailants who killed people mercilessly, it just goes on to show that the challenge is just so much more, not just for Bangladesh, not just for India, but globally today, Ankit.
All right, thank you so much, Smita, for bringing us those voices from Bangladesh. Very, very important time as far as that country is concerned. Well, moving on and staying still with the terror siege in Bangladesh, an Indian student, Tarishi Jan, was among those who were brutally murdered during the Dhaka siege. In fact, Tarishi's mortal remains will be flown to New Delhi tomorrow, from where it will be taken to her hometown Firozabad in Uttar Pradesh. Reports suggest Tarishi made a call to her parents when she along with her friends had locked themselves up in a washroom to escape the terrorists. In what is now the last conversation Tarishi had, she said, and I quote, "I'm hiding in a toilet with friends. I think we will be killed one by one," unquote. The 19-year-old student was accompanied by two of her friends, Faraz Ayaz Hossain and Avinta Kabir, who were killed in the carnage that played out at the Holy Artisan Bakery, reportedly because they were trying to protect Tarishi.
हमको आश्वासन दिया है पूरा कि प्रोसेसिंग वर्किंग चल रही है और वहाँ पर भी बांग्लादेश ढाका में भी उनका एक असिस्टेंट जैसे कमिश्नर हैं कोई एम्बेसी के, तो वो मेरे भाई के साथ हैं, ऐसा करके उन्होंने मेरे को बुलाया सुषमा जी ने, तो और सुबह तक बॉडी आने के लिए उन्होंने बुलाया है कि आप निश्चिंत रहें, धीर रखें और सुबह तक बिल्कुल आपका पूरा परिवार आ जाएगा इंडिया फिरोजाबाद।
परिवार का ये बता रहे हैं कि शायद इनकी बात हुई है और यहाँ लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, डेड बॉडी के लिए उन्होंने कहा है। जैसे भी होगा उस परिवार के साथ में हम लोग हैं, प्रशासन है, और जैसे ही ऑफिशियल कम्युनिकेशन जो भी होगा उसके हिसाब से करवाएंगे।
This is the diplomatic enclave area in Bangladesh's capital city, Dhaka, which is very popular with foreigners, with expats, a lot of embassies located here. Also an upscale neighborhood where essentially the upper class people tend to own residential plots, the Baridhara society. And on these roads, on these streets is located a building wherein in an apartment an Indian family is inconsolable as they grieve the loss of their young 19-year-old daughter, Tarishi Jan. We did try speaking, in fact, to the parents, but they completely refused. It was stonewalled in a way by all the relatives who have been pouring in to meet the family to express their deepest condolence. They say that the parents are in a state of trauma and shock. Indian High Commission officials, of course, accompanying the family, trying to expedite the legal processes, the paperwork that is required. Because though Tarishi's parents have been here in Dhaka for almost the last 15 to 20 years, with a father being a successful, in fact, garment industry businessman, they now want the last rituals and rites to be held in Firozabad in India. and that's why after, in fact, we are expecting that the body will be handed over on Monday morning. Tarishi's mortal remains will be, in fact, flown back via a commercial aircraft to India. Tarishi, who was on a vacation, she's a student of UC Berkeley, and she went out with two of her close friends to the Holy Artisan, in fact, bakery on Friday night. She was trapped as a hostage. Some reports suggest that she had to take shelter. She tried hiding herself in the restroom in the Artisan bakery, from where she made panic calls to her family. Luck did not come by her side, and Tarishi and both her friends, in fact, were killed mercilessly. Here in the diplomatic enclave in Dhaka, with Shahidul Haq Khokon and video journalist Kripal Singh, this is Smita Sharma for India Today.